So a lot of things came out in 2021. We had some good movies, some good TV shows, a bunch of anime dropped too. However, there's one show, in my opinion, that sticks out amongst all the other shows, and that's Amazon Prime's Invincible. Now, this show is so good that literally after the very first episode, I took my ass down to my local Amazon.com and I picked up every Invincible comic they had in stock, which thankfully basically meant I got the whole run. Because believe it or not, I think outside of the comic community and outside of the community that knows what Invincible is, I don't think that many people were hyped off of this show first coming out. I think a majority of people just was like, oh, it's a superhero, whatever, cartoon coming out. So you could get the comics pretty easily for the first few episodes, but I think once season 1 finished, it was pretty hard to get a hold of these comics. But I have to say, buying all these comics just after the first episode, I don't regret it at all. So let me explain why I believe Invincible is the best show that came out in 2021. I'm only going to be talking major spoilers for the first episode. However, in my opinion, the first episode is the easiest one to spoil because that's the one where everything kind of goes crazy. So if you haven't seen the show, click off, go watch at least the first episode, and then come back. Now, obviously, this is just my opinion, so if you have a different opinion, that's fine. If you got a different favorite show of last year, comment what that show is, and also like and subscribe on this video. It helps a lot. Put a lot of effort into these, so anything you can do to support is appreciated. Now, in all honesty, this show completely blew me away. The first episode of Invincible is probably the best first episode in any TV show, if I'm honest. Now, one of the best things that I like the most about Invincible is, in all honesty, the story. Now, we have shows like The Boys and movies that have come out like Kick-Ass, where they take the traditional superhero mentality and concept and kind of shove it into reality and see genuinely, if it was real, kind of how it would be. Now, one of the first things that Kick-Ass and The Boys doesn't have is Mark, also known as. So this show does kind of like what Kick-Ass and The Boys did, where it brings superheroes into reality, but it also matches that with giving us, in my opinion, one of the best coming-of-age stories in a long time. At least done with animation too. And in my opinion, it's Mark and his storyline specifically that makes me love this show so much. So similar to Kick-Ass, Mark is in high school and he's just learning to generally exist in the world, manage his raging hormones. Mark decides when he is at his most busiest in life, with the most going on, that he wants to become a superhero. Now, a very small detail that differentiates Kick-Ass from Mark in Invincible is that Mark's dad is literally the most godlike fucking human being to ever exist in the universe, and is basically Superman with a dope ass beard. So how do you beat that? How do you beat this? And Mark, being his son, inherits pretty much all of his powers. I'm talking Mario Kart Superstar power-up kind of shit. Also, his dad, who is basically like fucking Goku, is revealed in the first episode to literally be a huge fucking villain who kills this universe's or world's version of the Justice League, which can literally be referenced as pretty much taking a scene out of Hellraiser and dumping it into Amazon Prime. I'm talking there's some skin here, there's some eyeballs here, and that's why I like this show so much. Not because of the insane violence and all this stuff that just happened, but because this show blends so much together. On one hand, we have Mark dealing with his baby mama drama, balancing both a girlfriend, work, and school, and being a superhero. Goddamn! And on the other hand, we have Mark literally getting his ass beat in 4K by his own dad, while he's just trying to be the best superhero he can be. So in the most simple of terms, Mark's life is fucked beyond repair, is kind of where I'd put it. And that's the whole thing, is because as we start to watch the show more and understand Mark as a character and as an actual person, we get a lot more of his backstory, well, not just him, but his dad and his family and kind of his feelings. And we literally just uncover more and more about his character. And in my opinion, that's something that should be pretty standard across most mediums, is that characters have depth and layers. But for some reason, I just feel like I haven't felt it as much as I did here with Mark. And this idea of the layers and uncovering more of Mark's character is what led me to get the comics in the first place, because my ass was tired of waiting every week for an episode of this show. The first episode, in my opinion, has one of the best cliffhangers I've seen in a long time. And you think my ass would just patiently wait 7 days for another fucking episode? The answer is, for most shows, yeah, I probably would just wait 7 days, but for this show, no, I couldn't wait. I just had to get into it. So I grabbed all the fucking little Invincible comic books that would fit in my little Amazon shopping cart, and I checked the fuck out. And I proceeded to use my seeing balls, these, to consume the story in its ancient textual form, known as reading. Well, it's comics, so like reading plus pictures. And holy shit. When I say I no-lifed this book, I no-lifed this book. I lost friends reading this series voluntarily. I didn't even want friends no more. After I read this, I was like, no. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. And as I was reading the comics and then also watching the show as it was coming out, I quickly realized the show is definitely doing some different things versus the comics. It's, for one, taking things a lot slower in different aspects. Now, that's not to say that the comics is super fast and just extremely just quick, because it's not. But the show chooses to focus on a few different plot lines that the comics didn't necessarily do and kind of further dive into those plot lines and storylines or whatever. And you can also tell that it being a TV show, they're kind of doing a little bit more than what they could probably with just a comic. They're taking their time with more visual storytelling and more kind of cinematography, which is really cool. And certain characters and plot points are completely shifted and handed to other characters and just completely removed altogether. So there's a bunch of things that are just kind of moved within the show versus the comics. And I think overall it's done in a way to kind of create a more tighter narrative with the show, just so it's more cinematic and just kind of a better viewing experience. And in my opinion, that's super dope, because I hate those "the book is so much better" as people. I don't like that. I feel like if I'm consuming whatever story you're consuming in whatever way I want to, just be happy that I'm just even in general interested in the same shit that you're interested in. If I watch fucking Invincible on my fucking Apple Watch, does it matter, you know? Maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe. And so Invincible manages to craft this world where it's just like the comics enough to where I feel familiar and safe, but then also where it's different enough to where I also want to consume the TV show, even if I would have already read the comics anyways. So therefore it's enjoyable for new people that have never heard of Invincible, never even read the comics or knew it was a comic. And then it's also approachable for the other people, the people that knew about the comics, the people that have read the comics before, the nerds, the losers, the geeks, me. Just kidding. I didn't know about the comics before, so I'm not a loser, but I make anime content on YouTube, so maybe I'm the real loser. Anyways, so while the show was coming out, Invincible was also coming out of my bookshelf and into my super soft hands to be read, because we have a show that not only blows its first load in the first episode, but we have a show that proceeds to reload its load and continue just spraying on all of the episodes. Or in normal words, the first episode is genuinely really great, and it only gets better from there without having, in my opinion, a single bad episode or even a single average episode. It also manages to take a comic book storyline and take it off the pages and put it on screen in a way that comic readers can also enjoy it for a second time, but the new people that haven't heard about it can also come in and enjoy it too. Now, I have no idea when season 2 comes out. Hopefully soon. This show was one of the first few shows to completely embrace work from home, I believe. So from what I gather from interviews and stuff like that, the animators, voice actors, pretty much everyone just worked from home and just kind of sent their stuff through. And on the topic of that, I have to give huge props to the voice acting here. It's honestly super high quality, not like in like an audiophile way, but just the voice acting itself is really good. Because we were used to good voice acting with stuff like anime from Japan and stuff like that. And even some of the dubs have pretty good voice acting too. But I feel like the West hasn't come out with a great show in a long time that had super amazing voice acting. I think Clone Wars and like the Star Wars Rebels, stuff like that, has good voice acting too. But in general, I don't see too many good shows with great voice acting also, at least until Invincible came out. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't acknowledge when they're talking about this show. And that's also probably why season 2 is taking such a long time to come out. The voice actors on this project are pretty, I mean, they're not huge names, but these are, you know, not by any means unknown people. So it probably cost them a decent amount to get these people down for voice acting for this show. Now, I've explained what makes Invincible different and unique. And I've also explained why Invincible is one of my favorite shows. But I haven't explained yet why Invincible is the best show of 2021. And I could totally just clickbait the fuck out of you guys and not tell you why I think it's the best, but I'm gonna actually answer the question of the video literally. Is Invincible the best show of 2021? Yes, and here is literally why. Now, I don't think I'm saying that no good shows came out last year, because a ton of good shows did. WandaVision literally showed us every TV show era ever all in one show, and that was such an amazing like ride in general on a week-to-week basis. Kevin Can Fuck Himself did literally, and I can't believe I'm saying this, it merged two completely different styles of filmmaking and of just TV in general, and bridged a sitcom with a dramatic single camera TV show like Breaking Bad, and it's amazing. If you haven't seen Kevin Can Fuck Himself, please go watch it. It might not be the best show that came out last year, but it's definitely easily the most creative show that came out last year. We also had some super great dramas with Made for Love, Squid Game, Sweet Tooth, Blind Spotting, Yellow Jackets. A lot of good stuff came out, but none of them, in my opinion, had what this show had. Either they were insanely creative like Kevin Can Fuck Himself, or they were super edgy like Squid Game kind of was. But point is, out of all the shows I watched, none of them brought everything together and made it so enjoyable as much as Invincible did. And then to the effect that Invincible did with the amazing voice acting too, I just felt like that was one of the big things that I want to highlight here, the voice acting. It's nice. So Amazon, send me some money because I'm really putting on for this show. I want everyone that hasn't seen Invincible to go watch it now. Season 2 is probably coming out soon, so you better get on season 1 at least now if you haven't already. But chances are, if you watch this whole video, you probably have seen it because we talked major spoilers. So god damn, it's hot in here. Yeah, I'm sorry this fucks up with the green screen, but your boy's hot. So if you have seen the show and you agree with me that it's such a good show, put other people onto Invincible. It's amazing. I think everyone should give it a chance, just like how you should give my other videos a chance. I post a bunch of anime content like One Piece, Dragon Ball, bunch of stuff. So go ahead and watch anything that you want on my channel. Subscribe, like the video. I work a ton on these videos, so any support means the world. And also check out, I have playlists on my channel for all the different kinds of reviews that I'm doing right now. But thank you for your time and have a good one.